Hey guys, I'm Prouxx and I'm super happy to welcome you to our brand new show, Future Fridays. We're going to be looking at new releases of games and what's coming out in the future. We're also going to be looking at everything from indie games, simulator games and free games to those releases you've been waiting for over the past 2 or 3 years. So I'm actually producing this first episode on the Sunday before it will be released, so that means we've got 5 whole days between recording and release. The reason I'm saying this is because all of the games in this episode should have been released by the time you watch this. Anyway, as if we didn't already have enough simulators to play, you can now play Recycle Garbage Truck Simulator. In this game, you take charge of your own garbage vehicles, whether that be a dump truck, a transit van, or a digger with a massive claw on the end, and use them to run your waste disposal enterprise. While I don't expect anyone to play this game for thousands of hours at a time, if you're after something to pass the boredom on a Sunday afternoon, games like this are definitely for you. Simulator games seem to offer peace and quiet where you'd normally be pulling your hair out trying to kill opponents, or trying to save NPCs from their own lack of personal development. I don't think we're looking at something similar to other simulators here, where the game just seems like a poor attempt for some developers to earn some cash. I think we're finally seeing the simulator games plateau back into the incredible niche genre that was defined by games such as Flight Simulator. While I don't really want to make any bad comments about games like Surgeon Simulator because I haven't played them, there is a reason I never invested in such games. Personally, I'm a fan of Euro Truck Simulator, and it looks like this is just going to be a more in-depth version of that, obviously confined more to waste disposal. According to the pre-release info on Steam for this game, players can utilise many vehicles such as utility vans, basic garbage trucks, organic waste trucks, glass recycling trucks, crawler cranes, dump trucks and bulldozers. With this amount of variance in the tools you're using in the game, it's safe to bet that there will be enough content in this game for you to get bored way before it runs out. In this game, not only will you be able to collect your own garbage and keep the streets of your city clean and safe from a Futurama-esque future where you have to propel your garbage into orbit for the next generation to worry about. Further to this, you're going to be able to manage a whole waste disposal enterprise. Most of you will be glad to know that the system requirements for this game are pretty small. Pretty much, if you have anything above an i3 processor, you should be able to at least run this game from your onboard graphics. For those of you who have a graphics card, which I guess is most of you as this is a gaming channel, running this game is going to work in pretty much any situation. Game number 2, Train Fever. So this really reminds me of games from the past such as Sid Meier's Railroad Tycoon. Well, pretty much just Railroad Tycoon. Here's a little known fact about Railroad Tycoon though. It was awesome! If Train Fever can even hold a candle to Railroad Tycoon, then for $19.99 this game is an absolute steal. So, about the game. You start in the year 1850 and you have the opportunity to build your transport company from scratch. You'll be able to build rails between procedurally generated cities, managing your company and responding to the needs of the citizens around you. The pre-release videos show the players starting out with horses and carts, of course developing their systems into trains, but you can also make trams. I know it's sad guys, but the idea of building tram routes around and between cities seems endlessly exciting to me. While we've seen a lot of games recently with missing features, particularly with alpha games being released for about the same price as this game, I'm sure you'll find it refreshing when you jump into a game which is well thought out and will occupy you for plenty of hours while you're not doing the things in real life that you know you should be doing. One more thing, this game looks pretty beautiful. Obviously, it's not the most aesthetic game in the world, but considering the PC system requirements only ask for a 512 megabyte graphics card, what the developers of this game have achieved with the graphics are certainly not something you turn your nose up to. In general, I think this will be a fun game for you to all play, and while there's no word of any multiplayer right now, I think that the single player content will still be well worth the money they're asking. So that's 2 of the 3 games for this episode. Let's pull away from the smaller games in development and look at something a lot bigger. Something which some of you might have been waiting for. Let's take a look at The Sims 4. Now, ever since The Sims was originally released in 2002, I've been a huge and avid fan of the franchise. I used to spend hours on The Sims 2 building houses to upload them to the community and see what other people thought. Of course, at the age of 13-14 I was no serious content creator, but The Sims provided me with hours and hours of endless virtual fun. So for those of you who have been living under a rock for the past 12 years, The Sims is pretty much a life simulator. You take your created character or sim from their early adult years where they've got nothing but 20,000 simoleons and rely on you and their own skewed intuition of how to look after themselves. This is all while you try your very best to get them jobs, climb up the career ladder, and find them partners to reproduce with before they can reach their inevitable end and are dragged into the great sim abyss by the Sim Reap. The Sims 4 is another single player game, and another game which will have been released on September the 2nd, just before this video will go live. This time, The Sims 4 will require an online connection, no doubt in an effort to fight the vast amounts of piracy that EA are subject to, but will not provide a multiplayer option. While this game is nice to play and fun, if you want to keep up with all the latest developments and new content, you're going to have to shell out for the DLC packs. As it stands, The Sims 4 is available on Amazon for £38 as a standalone game. However, if you want to access the downloadable content that's already available, you'll have to scrape together a whopping $69.99. Personally, the last time I spent that much money on a game was when I bought Battlefield 4 Premium Edition, and I think I played that twice since I bought it. Good job, EA. I'd love to say it's not all doom and gloom, but without expansion packs you're probably going to be feeling left rather underwhelmed. The Sims is hardly known for a huge depth of content, and you'll often find yourself dressing your Sims like some sort of upmarket cartoon character rather than an actual person. I personally feel like The Sims is going to be one of those games that you wait to buy. For all intensive purposes, gaming is what I do for a living, and even I've not made my mind up as to whether or not I'll buy this game. While The Sims 4 might be a good purchase for those who just love the Sims franchise, I feel like this game doesn't deliver the type of things we're looking for from such huge studios as Maxis. Certainly The Sims would be infinitely more interesting with multiplayer elements. While this still seems to be up for debate, everyone seems settled on the fact that after the whole SimCity debacle, this game is better off sticking to single player. Personally, I think that EA and Maxis should be doing more to implement these kind of changes. If some of the world's biggest gaming production teams can't do it, then who can? Okay, rant over. I'm going to wrap this up now. If you want to go out and buy The Sims 4, you'll be in for a nice treat and a reasonable upgrade from its predecessor. If you're looking for something a little more engaging than The Sims 3 was, I'm afraid you're probably going to be disappointed here. Okay, so that's it for this week's episode of Future Fridays. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you want to make your opinion known and berate me for my not so kind words about The Sims 4, then the comments section is below. Go mad. But for now, from all of us at APG, thanks for watching. You've all been wonderful. I've been Prouxx. Deg deg.